International pressure is mounting this morning on Israel's government over what still is the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced that his country would recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in September unless Israel takes substantive steps to end what he called the appalling situation in the enclave. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Debora Patta brings us more on efforts to get aid into Gaza.
We joined a Royal Jordanian Air Force flight on a mission to drop aid into Gaza, where nearly 150 people have died of starvation, most of them this past month. Israel has either blocked or severely restricted aid into the territory, and following intense international pressure, has implemented a daily 10-hour humanitarian pause to allow the delivery of aid by land and air. The plane we flew on was loaded with about 20 pallets of aid. That's roughly the equivalent of one truck entering Gaza. That's a drop in the ocean. The World Food Programme says they need 600 trucks a day to make a dent in this crisis. As we entered the skies above northern Gaza, we could see the shoreline and then a wasteland of devastation and ruin. That's the closest we can get to Gaza because for the entire duration of this nearly 2-year-long war, Israel has not allowed any foreign journalists to report independently from the territory. The pallets of aid were parachuted to the scorched earth below, but this can also be hazardous. Here you see Palestinians chasing the airdrops into the sea only to retrieve soggy packets of food. The UN says land deliveries remain the most effective way to distribute food, and it has 6,000 trucks in Jordan and Egypt waiting for the green light to enter Gaza. Debora Patta, CBS News, Amman, Jordan.
Interesting reporting there from our Debora Patta. We're now going to chat with a CBS News Middle East reporter, Courtney Kealy. You see her in our DC bureau. Courtney, good morning. Good to see you again. So we just had that eye-opening report from Debora. We also have the UK giving, I guess, an ultimatum to Israel after France said it would formally recognize Palestinian statehood in September. But what difference does it make with France saying it will and the UK saying it might to the people in Gaza and their plight right now?
Well, this could be a formal structure. So we already have 147 out of 193 members of states of the United Nations that have recognized a Palestinian state. But France was the first on the UN Security Council, and the UK would be the second. They would join China and Russia on the UN Security Council. They all have veto power. The US would be the sole country with veto power. They have more authority to establish resolutions. Now, what needs to be done to establish a Palestinian state, it needs to meet criteria under international law. It needs to have permanent population, defined borders, and a government that can also conduct international relations. And because there have been peace processes in the past, like the Oslo Accords, we know that Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem loosely could be that state living alongside Israel. We know that the Palestinian Authority that was established by the PLO, the Palestinian Authority, could be that governing body. It also easily could conduct international relations because it already does so. It's not really active right now, and Hamas had taken over Gaza, but that could be reestablished pretty easily if this was all to come to fruition. But the UK really is using this as a cudgel against Israel, saying we can do this at the annual United Nations General Assembly in September, or you can meet criteria now to establish a ceasefire.
And historically, Benjamin Netanyahu has resisted Palestinian statehood, so we'll have to see if this type of pressure from the UK makes any difference. Courtney Kealy in our DC bureau. Courtney, thank you.